You want to grab that piece of wood and bring it to the fireplace?
Which piece?
Any piece. The one that looks best. I'll video you through our... Oh yeah. Look at that. Trying to vlog here. Okay, so Bonnie's back, Joe's back, Alyssa's still here. And on today's episode, we were discussing the differences between town living and off-grid living, and the four main utilities that we have discussed in the past: gas, sewer, electric, and water. We're going to touch on all those today because since Joe and Bonnie just moved back to the lodge, it's just kind of fresh on our minds and a topic we thought we would tackle. So Alyssa and Bonnie are going to make themselves some coffee. Got the French press ready to squeeze there pretty soon. And then we'll get on today's episode. Let's get on with today's episode. Hey Joe, I hate to interrupt, but I wanted to ask you your personal opinion on heating sources, living in town versus since you've moved off grid.
Absolutely. Give me 1 minute. We'll go outside.
Okay.
So when Bonnie and I lived in town, we had natural gas, just like almost everybody else. The pros and cons, so there's two main things to factor in here. And I'm going to start by saying I've never met anybody that does not like wood heat. The feel of it, the warmth, standing by the fire. The biggest thing that turns people off from wood heat is the mess that it creates. You can even get past the work because you can go buy it. You can buy truckloads of wood. It's the mess. And yes, that is something that we deal with. We deal with the mess. So the pros and cons here, I can flip a switch on natural gas when I lived in town, set it and forget it. But man, I just can't get past. I don't want to lose my wood heat.
All right, so just to be official, got to ask you your personal preference. Do you miss it or not miss it?
Not miss it.
Okay, here you go. There's your answer.
All right, I'm going to ask Zach about one of the things that most of us take for granted. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Water. You turn the faucet on and it comes out, right? Let's ask Zach what the difference is with water from on-grid to off-grid. Zach, water, where the frick are you going?
Okay, so a lot of you may know, some of our new subscribers may have no clue. That sun just came out and that's not normal. So our summer water source is a freshwater spring line that is piped in up the mountain behind the camera. It's super awesome, super clear. It freezes up pretty good in the winter, so our water source becomes the lake, which we have to then filter unless we're taking showers or doing laundry. There are certain aspects that you don't have any need to filter the water. And also we'll come over here into the tack shed here. This is where we keep our washer and dryer. And then back here, that just has an old hose running to it. The wives really don't enjoy doing laundry out here because it is a very hands-on activity. You gotta leave the house, come check it in the tack shed, make sure everything's done, throw it in the dryer and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely not as easy going as when we lived in town. I know I could ask the wives inside, they would say they really miss doing in-town laundry. I can completely understand. It definitely has its challenges as far as hauling water off of the lake in the winter requires us to put an electric pump into the lake, pump it into holding tanks, which we then drive up onto the property with the snowmobile sleds. So it's a lot of hard work, and we haven't quite come to a conclusion on how, if, or when we'll be able to dig a well in the future.
So with all that said, Zach, do you miss water from a faucet or do you not miss it?
The town living way of not having to worry about hauling water. The hole that we gather water from the lake can freeze and you have to re-chop it. It's a huge chore. So honestly, I do miss that aspect of living in town. All right, so now that the ladies have their coffee, I wanted to ask them about a couple things. Since moving off grid, you do without some of the I don't know, luxuries of microwave, a toaster, and a coffee pot or a Keurig machine. Now, I want to be sure to let you know that you could have those things living off grid, but we have to start the generator, and you have to make sure your generator is powerful enough to run something like a microwave. Anyways, we don't have any of those things. So I'll give it over to the ladies, and they will discuss what it's like living in a house, working in a kitchen without those things.
She doesn't want to talk. She's just drinking her coffee.
So Bonnie got her coffee. So now she's out of commission for the rest of the vlog.
Do I miss a coffee pot? No. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with coffee pot coffee. It's very convenient. You can set a timer. I think Violetti coffee is my favorite, and it's just so much better. It's worth waiting for. Same with the French press, especially when you wake up first and make it for me.
It does take a lot longer doing the Violetti or the French press, but since we're not usually in a rush, we have the time to do it, and I actually kind of enjoy it's kind of therapeutic, the process of doing it, though I wouldn't mind if Joe got up and made it.
Your personal preference, town living or off-grid coffee?
Off-grid.
Off-grid.
Your mom's, you can be in a hurry cooking a meal. How do you miss or work without a toaster and or microwave?
The toaster I couldn't care less about, honestly. We used it. The girls don't really...
Bonnie, do you want to show us what we use for our toaster?
The girls didn't really eat toast when they were little before we moved out here, and I didn't do that much. This makes it way better anyways.
So delicious.
It's just something it adds to the flavor of the toast. So that tastes way better.
Yeah.
And I don't miss it at all. I don't think it's a big deal.
What about a microwave?
I actually would catch myself in town not using the microwave because I was in the habit of taking stuff out early. It has its times of being convenient, but I think it's really easy to adjust to not having one.
When we first moved out here, this is going to sound really, really stupid. I did not know how to soften butter. I was like, how do you melt butter or soften butter without a microwave? I have never had to do this before. So that sounds really dumb, but until you know how to do those things, it seems like a big deal to not have a microwave. Now it's not a big deal. You use it on the stove, you melt some on the wood stove. There's all kinds of weird tricks that you can do, like put it in a Ziploc bag in boiling water and stuff like that.
I've always thought that more than anything out here, I wanted a dishwasher because it would just save me so much time. But I was really surprised in town how much time I spent with the dishwasher. Like, you had to rinse everything before it went in, and then when it would come out, the dishes weren't dry. So you had to dry the dishes, and it just felt like I spent more time with the dishwasher than I normally would. I still in my mind think that I would like to someday have a dishwasher out here, but now I just know I want to spend the extra money and get a really good one.
Joe was videoing me outside talking about our water source, and I usually don't take a very long shower, so I wasn't going to talk about the shower summer and winter stuff like that. But with you ladies, you get out of the shower, do you want to use a blow dryer or a straightener, and how has that affected your life since moving out here? Has it really affected your life?
You just look at what's going on here. The answer is yes. In town, I would sometimes blow dry my hair or straighten my hair or just tame it a little bit. Now I just let nature take its course. Just roll with it.
Occasionally, if I'm in the mood to feel a little bit more put together, less bushy, I'll turn the generator. Nothing. I'll turn the generator on and use the straightener. But for the most part, because a lot of the time we are in the kitchen and you have to have your hair back anyways, it's not as big of a deal because it's who cares if you blow dried your hair to put it in a ponytail or a braid or something to keep it back.
So electronic hair care products, town living or off-grid, you miss it or not miss it?
I think I'd miss it. I think I would say miss it.
Yeah, miss it.
All right, we're back outside for a second because I wanted to get someone's take on something else that is different since we moved out here in the wilderness and live off-grid.
Hello.
Yes, you too. Let's go selfie mode here so we can talk into the microphone.
Cheese.
Hey girlies, got a question for you.
Yes.
How is it living off grid, using the outhouse, and what do you miss about like town living when you might go visit cousins or friends or someone who actually has a flushing toilet or something like that?
We don't have a flushing toilet, so that's kind of different. And our cousins have a flushing toilet, and so the outhouse is not usual to them.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't really care about either of them. I would just rather use a flushing toilet because you don't have to like run outside and go.
You have to also run outside when it's cold outside, huh?
Yeah. I sometimes have to do that, but I don't like it at all.
We all use the outhouses all summer and winter, huh, Eiley?
And pretty much every day I have to.
Yeah. Your opinion of using a flushing toilet in town versus an outhouse, do you miss the town version or do you like the off-grid version?
I like the off-grid version, but I really like flushing toilets. I don't know what to say. I don't like going to the outhouse in the winter time, but using a flushing toilet is just not normal for me. The flushing toilet is easier because when you use a bathroom, you can like get rid of the
All right, guys, we got Joe here editing a video as we speak. We are wrapping up with the ladies. Thank you, ladies, for your take on my list.
You're welcome.
I made a list of things we would miss or thought we would miss. So that is it for today's video. Drop a comment or a question down below because I'm sure we might have missed something. If you can think of anything like, hey, how do you manage this living off grid? Or do you miss this since living in town? Drop that question below. We'll be sure to answer it in an upcoming video or just in the comment section. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and all that good stuff. We'll see you in the next one. Emma, what are you doing?
I'm having a piggyback. Oh,
That looks awesome.
On a scale of Violetti being the best and gas station coffee being the worst.
Gas station coffee's not always the worst.
It's true. IHOP coffee. That's the worst.
I miss all our old toys and like Eileen, we're talking about toilets. The Monte brothers.